All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. When you picture a typical high-flying tech startup, you're probably imagining a boardroom full of executives, right? People in suits obsessing over quarterly revenue, user acquisition costs, the whole nine yards. But back in March 2023, the foundation for the future of artificial intelligence was being laid by the 20-something drummer with a $60 million theory. This is the story of Moonshot AI, and we are going to look at how taking a completely unorthodox approach to building technology paid off in an absolutely massive way.
To really understand this company, you have to understand the philosophy of its CEO, Yang Zhilian. He has this fantastic quote where he says, "A truly great company needs cultural depth. It's not just about technology or a soulless product." And he doesn't just say that, he lives it. I mean, this is a guy who literally put a grand piano right near the entrance of the company lobby. Oh, and the company name itself, Moonshot? That's directly inspired by the classic Pink Floyd album, The Dark Side of the Moon. So right from day one, it was crystal clear that this was not going to be your standard run-of-the-mill AI laboratory.
So, part 1, the memory bin. Okay, so here's the crucial piece of the puzzle, Yang's contrarian thesis. While the rest of the industry was rushing to build conversational chatbots, trying to make AI talk like a human, Yang believed something totally different. He believed that massive, long-context memory was actually the first real milestone toward artificial general intelligence, or AGI. To put this in perspective, in late 2023, standard competitors were capped at about 4,000 to 8,000 tokens. Think of a token as the AI's short-term memory limit. But then, Moonshot launched their product Kimi with a staggering 128,000 tokens. You could suddenly process an entire novel or pore over a massive legal contract in a single prompt, and the AI wouldn't lose the thread from page 1. It was a complete game changer.
And you better believe the market's response was absolute fireworks. Fast forward a bit to March 2024, Moonshot pushed a massive update supporting 2 million characters per prompt. 2 million! The demand was so immediate and honestly so overwhelming that it actually buckled their servers. Users started getting slammed with a massive 429 engine is overloaded error. Now, obviously nobody likes a server crash, but in the startup world, this was the ultimate crucible moment. It proved extreme product market fit. They had built something that people absolutely desperately wanted to use.
Which brings us to part 2, winning the developers.
Now, things didn't stay easy. As competitors flooded the consumer market, Kimi's ranking actually slipped down to 7th place. But instead of panicking, Moonshot made a highly deliberate pivot. They stopped fighting for those flashy consumer metrics and went all in on targeting the developer ecosystem. And they moved fast. In 2025, they pushed out Kimi 1.5 for reasoning in January, then Kimi VL for vision in April. By June, they released Kimi Dev for coding, and then the grand finale in July, K2. This was a massive 1 trillion parameter model. That just shows you the sheer size and power of this AI's brain. Within 24 hours of that release, they absolutely dominated Hugging Face and saw GitHub projects surge. They completely cemented Moonshot's reputation as a top-tier infrastructure provider.
But of course, moving at breakneck speed in a high-stakes industry is going to cause some friction. In February 2026, Anthropic alleged that Moonshot actually violated its terms of service. The claim was that they used fraudulent accounts to scrape training data from Claude. Now, Moonshot remained entirely publicly silent on the specifics of this. And honestly, what you should take away from this isn't about taking sides or pointing fingers. Instead, it perfectly highlights the intense, aggressive, and truly global arms race for training data. It is a wildly competitive landscape that every single major AI lab on the planet is currently trying to navigate.
All right, part 3, the decacorn.
Let's look at how that stubborn, contrarian bet on memory translated into cold, hard numbers. The financial growth here is just explosive. We are talking about jumping from a $2.5 billion valuation back in February 2024, skyrocketing all the way to a $20 billion valuation by May 2026. They hit $200 million in annual recurring revenue, and honestly, they aren't slowing down. With the release of their highly ranked K3 model, reports suggest they're already targeting a $30 billion valuation.
So what's the end game? What does the ultimate roadmap actually look like? Well, Yang Zhilian has outlined 3 very specific milestones to reach AGI. Step 1 is long context length. Step 2 is a multimodal world model. And step 3 is a scalable, self-improving architecture. When you step back and look at this roadmap, just remember that his massive initial bet on step 1, that long context memory, is already paying off. It's become the industry standard infrastructure that the global developer community relies on and builds on top of every single day. So all of this leaves us with one really fascinating question. Will Moonshot actually reach artificial general intelligence? Or is this all just incredibly excellent branding? Will a stubborn purist sitting in a lobby with a grand piano actually achieve what the smartest engineers in the world are currently chasing, simply because he decided to play to a totally different rhythm? It's something you should definitely keep in mind as we continue to watch the future of this global AI race unfold.